Now, folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine, folks.
Wow. Oh, Cameron just walking through them flurries. Katie needs to throw 1, 2 and get out. She can't stay there. Cameron dominating. Alright, this is really bad tempered. It's really... These two, I think it's just competitive dislike, but you can feel the hostility. This is what I'm saying. People saying, oh, women's boxing. Women's boxing, when it's done properly, is flipping good. I'm not going to say it's as good as men, but women's boxing, a good fight like this is bloody good.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of people see Amanda Serrano as a trailblazer, pushing hard for 12 frees for women's boxing, boycotting the WBC. Although I noticed there's not much women in support of the boycott. And arguably, she is the top women's boxer out there. Arguably. I'd make a good argument for her. But her fights that she's had with Katie Taylor will not be historical like the Cameron-Katie Taylor trilogy. And this is what Amanda should have been embarked in. After the first fight in MSG, she should have went straight into a second fight with Katie Taylor, but she hasn't done that. And that left the door open for Chantel Cameron to take Katie's unbeaten record and her undisputed titles at 140. Katie came back the other week, avenged her loss, and took Chantel's 140-pound titles. Chantel said, I've had my break from boxing to clear my head and recover from my first loss. At Katie, T86, we both took each other's O's. Let's get the trilogy on next. I agreed the first fight in less than 48 hours, no excuses. If you are anything like me, you will not want to leave this at 1-1. Hey, listen, I don't care if Chantel lost the last fight. Eddie, let's get that stadium, whether it's Croke Park or any other stadium available in Ireland, because that's where it needs to be, Chantel, not in Manchester. Yeah? Katie's the draw. But you're also making history as well to be in probably maybe the biggest women's trilogy in the history of the sport. Is there any bigger than this? Let me know in the comment section, because there's a lot of boxing fans who are way more informed than I am. But that's speaking like a true competitor. That's what boxing fans wanted to hear. Those who have watched the first two fights, this is what you want to hear. A classic women's boxing trilogy. To my memory, the best trilogy ever. They're going to go all out to put it in a stadium, Croke Park or not. Conor McGregor, if he's an integral part of it, I don't give a shit. Listen, I'm not getting into all the politics. If he's able to assist Eddie Hearn putting that fight on, go Conor. Can't wait for this one.
Yeah, really disappointed. You know, Bradis isn't ready to fight. I don't understand. Like, we're going to fight Bradis. We've agreed to fight Bradis in March. So, Opata is ready to fight in December, but the IBF won't let him. It's weird, but it is what it is.
What happens over this day?
We're going to vacate. We're going to have the IBF, or the Ring Magazine Championship, which I think is the most prestigious. And we might even challenge for the Super Cruiserweight Championship, just to add another belt on the line, to become a two-division champion. But, you know, you get to that level, you have to wonder, do the belts matter? I think they do, but sometimes you've got to be strong enough to let them go.
I don't get it. It's not like Jai is ducking his mandatory. Bradis is not ready to fight. He's not ducking the mandatory. They're actually encouraging Jai Opata to be inactive when the boxing world want to see this guy fight on the back of that terrifying performance he put on against Jordan Thompson. We want to see him active. Why would you deny a young man his highest payday when he's not ducking the mandatory? Now, look, it's prize fighting, bottom line. Before lineal belts came into play in boxing, it was always about prize fighting. He has to take this Saudi money. He has to take it. And listen, it's not only Jai Opata, it's Elvis Zorro getting a career highest payday. Any boxer who is in a position to collect career-changing money has to take that fight. So Jai pulling out does not only affect him, it affects Elvis Zorro. It affects him too. Why would the IBF put two boxers who put their life on the line to entertain the boxing fans? Why would you put them in a position where they cannot maximize their earnings? You know what I would like to see? I would like to see boxers actually getting behind Jai Opata and voicing their displeasure at the sanctioning body for this decision, with the facts that we have that the IBF shouldn't be doing this. He's not asking for any favors. He won his belt fair and square in the ring when his jaw was all healed up. He was ready to take on his mandatories, Richard Riakporhe and Bradis, but they weren't ready. The only argument that I could take side with the IBF is I don't see him ranked by the IBF. I don't see him ranked anywhere. Not top 10, not top 15. He's ranked in the lower tier of the WBO 15 and WBA 15, but he's not IBF ranked. And so if he's not ranked, that might be why they vetoed the fight. But news in, he's vacated the strap. And he's rightly went with the money. Yeah? Bottom line is, when you're put in a position like that, you can't feed your family with them belts. You can't. And if Bradis does win that belt, will anyone really consider him the legitimate champion? Unless he beats Jai?
I don't know, Josh Taylor seems to want a hell of a lot of money, and I don't know how that's achievable without a belt. But we'll go away, we'll sharpen our pencil. It's definitely a fight we want to try and make, and we'll try and do so.
So, Matchroom made an offer to Top Rank to stage the rematch between Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor. The offer was rejected, with Josh Taylor saying, "I don't accept offers at an 80% pay cut, especially for a fight that's bigger than the first fight. I don't know anyone on the planet that would fight for that kind of pay cut. If Matchroom are serious about making the fight, they've got to put a serious offer in. Simple as that." The simplicity is, the first fight was for the undisputed light welter titles. This fight here is for no sanctioned world titles. Also, Josh Taylor lost his last fight. He lost his last belt when he was convincingly outpointed by Teofimo Lopez. Now, I know two of the judges have got it 115, 113, but that was the last of his straps, the WBO strap. How does he figure the rematch, a potential rematch, is bigger than the first fight when his stock plummeted from the first fight, him getting that decision, and plummeted even further when he lost to Teofimo Lopez? I don't get that. When the scheduled rematch was supposed to materialize before he fought Teofimo Lopez in June, and Josh pulled out with an injury, I was in that percentage of people who thought there's a good chance he's swerving Jack Catterall rather than being genuinely injured, because the style matchup was just not a good one for him, and he never really said anything that convinced me that he wanted the rematch. And what he's saying now is even further strengthening my belief he's never wanted the rematch. How much should Matchroom pay him? Now, do I believe he'd take the fight if they put up a ridiculous amount of money? Of course, but why would they do that? There's no world title at stake. Why are they going to pay over the odds for a fight that has lost much of its appeal after Josh lost that last belt to Teofimo Lopez? It's ridiculous. Why don't Eddie match Jack Catterall and Richardson Hitchens together? That'd be a really good fight. But then again, it doesn't sell much. You see, I make all these hypothetical matchups in my head thinking, yo, yeah, that's a real hot ticket. But the facts are most of these boxers can't really sell anything. As much as I respect their skills, that's the facts. There must be other fights that Eddie Hearn can explore, like when the fight was made in 2022, a lot of the initial buzz, and it had a lot of buzz. I mean, Jack Catterall's local MP from Chorley, Lindsay Hoyle, I have no question why the judges got it so wrong. I have already sent a letter to the police, he said in jest, about the suggested robbery that Jack Catterall suffered in the ring that night. And this was in Parliament. He said everybody is disgusted by what happened. It brings the sport into disrepute. He spoke to Nadine Dorries, the Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, and the Minister for Sport, Nigel Huddleston. The British Boxing Board of Control were also investigating the result. And at the time, Josh Taylor's language was a little different.
Fair play to Jack. He got a great tactics, great game plan, come in and executed it well. But I still think I did just enough to win the fight.
At the same time, if you do vacate your undisputed world titles, all the 4 belts, would you like to see Jack have a chance to fight for one of those vacant belts?
Yeah, of course. I think he deserves it. Yeah, I think he deserves it. And we'll see what happens down the line. We can have a fight again with Jack. Why not? And I'm certainly open to it. So yeah, we'll see what happens down in the future.
So when you say a fight again, but not at 140 pounds, it would have to be catchweight or welterweight.
Most likely, probably a catchweight. I can't make the weight anymore.
I mean, this is what I'm saying about Josh Taylor, how much respect he's lost. He said he can't make the weight anymore. a rematch with Jack would have to be at 147, right? But he went on to fight Teofimo Lopez at 140. Now, Devin's a free agent, but he's a Matchroom fighter. The only reason he left Matchroom is because that's the only way he could get a crack at the undisputed titles. Regis Prograis is Matchroom. Eddie can't guarantee Jack Catterall the winner because 140 right now is potential fire. The fighters at 140, you got tough fighters in there. Not big ticket sellers, but the likes of Sandor Martin, very capable. Richardson Hitchens, capable. Gary Antoine Russell, same thing. Catterall, Ramirez, Arnold Barboza, Ryan Garcia, potential big money fight. The champions, you got Rolando Romero. Not all that to me. But you got Sabriel Matias, Teofimo Lopez, and the winner of Prograis and Haney. The fans are going to want to see them unify with the likes of Matias and Lopez. Apparently, Teofimo already sent Sabriel Matias an offer to fight, but Matias has got a hand injury and he's trying to reschedule it a little later down the line, early next year. And Jack Catterall, his 2 fights since the Josh loss, if you want to call it a loss, have been points wins over the average Dara Foley. Durable and tough and strong and big, but very average in terms of ability. 10-round points win and a unanimous decision against Jorge Linares in October, where you could argue he was a little overcautious. So he didn't really do much to sell himself in terms of being an option for the Haney Prograis winner. Now,
all I know is y'all nigga dropped a whole lot of N-bombs in that press conference.
They hurled N-bomb after N-bomb. Devin and Regis. Eddie, tell the truth. You was very uncomfortable when they were dropping them N-bombs. Eddie didn't know where to turn his head. He's probably thinking, bloody hell, they're going to probably blame me for this. Everywhere Eddie turned on, he said, yo, what up? On a serious note, some people thought it was a little excessive. But, some people would argue it was to sell the fight. I would argue that the gate was already sold before the McGinn moment press conference. It was already sold. 16,000 sold. And Tank Davis fans on Twitter were trying to say the tickets were only $50. Man, that's the problem, everybody should celebrate Tank's success or their haters, but the minute fighters who have struggled like Devin and Regis get a little limelight, then you shit on it. That's just like crabs in a barrel, or what? Isn't that right, Mr. Ray Jackson? Regis, he weighed in 139, had no issues making the weight. Devin, 140 on the money. Apparently he had to take off his drawers. We didn't see that in the ceremonial weigh-in, but apparently that's what went down. Devin on points, nothing changed there. That's the pick. Looking forward to the card. Liam Paro versus Montana Love. Should be a good fight. Ebony Bridges defends her, super bantamweight title. I don't think her OnlyFans uniform at the weigh-in got the attention she was looking for. We've seen it already, isn't it? It's a bit played out now. Okay, so this is from Dan Raphael, California State Athletic Commission. Official contract purses for the Matchroom boxing card on the DAZN pay-per-view on Saturday. So, Prograis and Haney, 1.5 million guarantees apiece, although per sources, Prograis is guaranteed 3 million and Haney at least 4. Liam Paro and Matara Love are going to split 62,000 apiece. Andy Cruz, 75,000. Giovanni Stefan, 20 grand. Ebony Bridges, 40 grand. Mayo Yoshida, 30 grand. That's her opponent. Amari Jones, 15 grand. Priscilla Madeira, $800. And they put in there, not a typo, $800. Beatrice Ferreira, 10 grand. The things I pick out from that is why they're doing Madeira like that. Why she only get 800? You couldn't even round it up to 1,000. Not funny actually. Perhaps she's a to be announced. I guess this is why Regis is saying that Eddie and Matchroom are rooting for Haney, because he's getting a guaranteed 4, although per sources, as Dan Raphael says, Regis is getting 3. But, Devin is from the Bay, despite what Regis is saying. Devin is from the Bay. It's in San Francisco. 16 grand sellout. And the majority of the fans are Devin Haney fans. But they're saying DAZN subscribers can catch the action at $59.99, while non-subscribers, you're on the hook for $84.99. Now, it is true, the tickets range from $57 to $2,500. That's expensive seats, man. That's expensive. But yo, it's a sellout regardless. It's a sellout. You know, you got Andy Cruz on the undercard, couple of Australians. I don't see much Americans forking out $85 if they ain't got the DAZN subscription, if I'm perfectly honest.